Oh man, I love our new intro music. That was
Yeah,
I just wait. So we asked some of our internal people to go and grab us a new intro vid, and we give him a broad brief. I was like,
right.
could you just do something like that?
And it was on point.
Nailed it.
Top notch.
Yeah,
It's all official now.
yeah. I feel like like we're not using restreams, built-in nice bits. We're just using our own, which is pretty sweet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. I am Dan Webb. I'm a senior developer advocate at Chef Progress or Progress Chef now. Bam, the other round. As of a
Boom.
couple of weeks ago, we rebranded. I'm joined today by Kai Toilet.
Hey, everybody. I'm also a developer advocate here at Progress Chef. See, look. I got it because you got it.
Yeah.
Yes. And this is another episode of the hallway track. We got a name. Let's talk about what the hallway track is. I mean, the hallway track, like, we're kind of, it's like a more
Yeah.
conversational stream, like kind of like what you do in the hallway at a conference, right?
Yeah. So on Tuesdays are like our demo days, and I'm like, hey, there's a really cool new thing. And the design for Thursdays at least is our like, if you've got a cool topic, we'll come on and bring guests on. Today was going to be our guest day, but they had to reschedule last minute. So we're
Right.
now going to chat about Gartic. I mean, unified mode. Unified mode, totally unified
Unified
mode.
mode.
It's just an excuse for me and Kai to be Gartic again because it's been ages. It's been like, what, 2 months probably since we played
Right.
Gartic.
Since we played Gartic, I miss it.
Yeah, so we're going to draw some flags today. And then once we've drawn the flags, those of you who want to stick around, we are going to talk about unified mode, what it is, why it's important for our upcoming chef release in April. And I'm also going to talk about chef releases as well, like how often they happen and why they happen in the way they do. Um,
Right, because we're open source. So, the
yeah,
people want to know.
and there's a whole historical reason behind it as well, which I relearned the other day. And there's a whole host of reasons behind it. So yeah, remind me to tell you all about the RFC process. That's the snippet there, which is not arriving at the moment. But the moment we have plans, we have evil plans.
Yeah.
But first of all, let's do our
Pre-pleasure.
pre-flight checks. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we bam, 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 at the bottom there. We are Progress Chef, and we are at Chef still because we are chefs. If
We're
you
forever
are not,
true.
yeah, yeah, I'm still wearing my chef t-shirt, my Dev Love Tops t-shirt. I would show you the bottom of the t-shirt, but you'd also see my belly, and no one needs to go to that today. So I'm just going to say sit down. If you're not following me on Twitter, I mean, that's fair enough. But if you are wanting to follow me on Twitter, I'm Dan_Webb. I am usually talking about, I don't know what, just some random stuff, and there's a lot of retweets. A couple of weeks ago, I did some demos on the waiver stuff, so there's like shorter versions of sometimes what I do on stream. And Kaya's Twitter is BlackLCTO, spelt in her cool ass way.
Yep.
I'm just not cool enough for this phone, so I guess where this is fine. You
I
are
generally
you are
repost chef stuff, and then so like this morning I posted like last minute post about our live stream. Like, hey, we're switching it up, you
yeah.
know. So if you want to be like the first to know about that, follow me.
I should probably follow you actually. Okay, we're not doing this anymore. If you want to go and chat to us when we're not on stream, the best place to get us probably is not Twitter. It will be the Community Chef Community Slack.
Yes.
I'm usually in the sous chef's room, so hashtag sous-chef, because I am in the middle of trying to figure out how we get all of those 170 cookbooks unified mode ready for April. I had a minor panic it's a minor panic. I have a small child. He didn't like to sleep last night. It was about 40 minutes of me not sleeping. And I was like, all the Americans are still awake, though. So this is fine. So I was up at like 2 a.m. last night. Yeah, it happens. You have kids. And I was
Oh
like,
wow.
I wonder if I can like poke a bunch of people to talk about unified mode. Hence why we're talking about unified mode today, because there's a whole chat around it, and they all realise that they've got a bunch of things that you haven't checked, and there may or may not be unified mode ready.
Aha.
So yeah,
Yeah, and then
so
it
we'll
goes
chat about
around the
that.
clock.
You want the history behind this entire stream? Then get some community Slack. If you are looking for like solutions to problems and you feel like stack trace, the best place usually is Discourse. And if you're not in EMEA or US time zones, and you're out of those kind of time zones, you just want to like post it and then come back a day later, and you're not in a huge rush, then Discourse or Chef is the place to do it. But docs. In fact, we were talking about docs last week about inspect waivers, and there was something not quite right about the waivers. We couldn't figure out what time zone and when waivers start stop.
Right.
It's been fixed.
Sweet.
Yep. Well, it's not quite live on the docs site. There's an open PR for it from the docs team. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, that's so thank you everyone who came on the stream and was like, oh, I don't understand when this happens. Um, we've got docs. We fixed the docs.
Yeah, that's pretty reactive. I mean, like,
Yeah, it's
it
pretty
catches
nice.
on the back. Damn.
So we talked about it on stream. We fixed it. Well, we didn't fix it. We submitted an issue, and we didn't know what the answer was, so we couldn't fix it. We asked the internal team, and they've now supplied us with a nice bit of docs to clarify stuff.
Way to DevRel.
Yeah. So we've got you know. Talking about getting someone else's back. Code It Live. If you like Code It Live streams, there are a bunch of different topics. There are sister stream. They're awesome. I follow them. I really enjoy the streams. So if you like this kind of stuff, or you like people in chicken costumes and being more extra than me, then Alyssa is on Code It Live, and I freaking love them. So I will always give a big shout out to Code It Live on Twitch.
Yes, shout out. Yeah, their streams are pretty awesome. They're like
Yeah.
professionals over there.
It's pretty cool.
They do those long, like multiple hour ones that you can just have in the
Yeah.
background. You know what I mean?
Let me just throw the Gartic link up.
Oh yeah, I've got it out already on the chat, but I guess just figure out how to put it on LinkedIn.
There we go. Right at the bottom. So for people on LinkedIn, I apologise. We can't post to LinkedIn, but bam, there's your Gartic link. Let us know if you can't see that. You can't do that.
Boom. Posted it on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, so we're doing flags, right?
We're going to do flags. It might just be you versus me at this point.
Oh, can people like join as we once we start the game?
We'll give them until 10 minutes into the stream, and then we'll just start. And people will see us flailing around. But in the meantime, so there's our Gartic link. I'm going to remove that. So I'm going to share my Gartic screen. So if you haven't played Gartic before, it's just a drawing game. It's actually quite a hard drawing game sometimes because, like, how do I draw this flag? I've never seen it in my life before.
Right. So is it cheating to just Google it?
Well, not in my books because that's how I learn about new flags. I mean, yeah, totally. I quite like trying to draw a flag I've just seen, and then everyone else guessing. You're like, so I've got the flag and I've drawn it perfectly, and then no one else guesses it.
Like, and nobody is guessing it. You're like,
it's
what
fine.
In the world?
Hey, we've got a troll. What's the chance that is Jason?
Oh, it's very possible.
I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Jason.
That's awesome. Hey, possibly Jason. Troll.
It's gotta be Jason. Can't be anyone else. And if there's anyone else in India, that kind of stuff, say hi. We love to hear where people are from as well whilst we're doing the stream.
Absolutely.
I did ask so when you were asleep, I'm hoping you were asleep. During my morning time yesterday, I did a stream, and a bunch, like loads of people from India Standard Time came on. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So they go from Bangalore, Bangladesh, and it's great. So, and we now got totally not Jason, which might well be Jason, or it might be Lee.
Oh, who? Oh,
Lee,
wow.
also from the same group. I just posted it in one of my other chat rooms as well, so one of them dislikes. So
Okay, cool.
hopefully, or we've got is we've got two Jasons, and he's going to draw twice as hard as everyone else.
All right,
So I
so
appreciate it.
I think we can start
And we'll
then.
start now. Oh, trying to drink my coffee, and my coffee, my hot chocolate so loudly. No, no one needs ASMR hot chocolate in the ears. Uh, British Virgin Islands.
Oh shoot, wait, hold on. Mm, boom.
Mm. Um, totally not Jason. You're gonna have to like. There we go. Oh,
Sweet.
it's my turn to draw next. So I'm gonna get rid of my screen. So oh God, I'm gonna do that one. But I can't remember.
Okay, let me see. I'll do one.
Yeah, it's exactly how I feel about it. Exactly how I feel about it. About how I feel about it. I need that. And I need one of those. So that's not helpful, but yeah. Uh, that's about it. Oh no,
Wait,
I've
is
done it
that
wrong.
yours? Oops. That one's mine. Okay, okay, okay.
That's my flag.
Hmm.
We've got the sea. We've got Russia. It's none of those. Just double check. Because no, I have drawn it right. I'm
Uh,
okay. I'm not drawing it badly. I'm just it's a wonderfully simple flag. It's super effective.
it is. I don't know what it is.
It's what we got? What we got?
I'm about to Google it.
There we go.
Hint? Yes, give us a hint. Oh, boom.
There we go. Let me reshare my screen. I'll give
All
it the
right.
benefits for us.
Tra la 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 la.
This is where we find that trololol can't draw and he skipped.
What?
We'll give him a second. Smoking.
It's a cigarette.
I can't imagine why Totally Not Jason guessed the troll.
Right?
Do you have anyone else on stream as well? We've got a bunch of people watching now. So what we're doing is we are genuinely just wasting a little bit of time until we've got enough people on the stream to do our unified mode discussion. Uh, we're currently watching trolling us quite successfully.
Right.
Very successfully, I'd say.
Very successfully. We are
Yeah.
not going to get this one.
No. But yeah, I'll report this person.
Dang.
So, if we don't get anyone joining in the next couple of minutes, I think, you know what we'll do? So, let's pause there. Let's pause us also. Because I think it's just going to be basically me and Kaya and
Say that
Troll.
again?
Just this is going to be you and me trying to like figure out each of this flag.
Okay.
But let's get into it. Let's get into our unified decision. So, this is a doc site. So I did mention docs earlier on. So docs.chef.io/unified mode. Again, apologies to anyone linked it. You can't see that link. But I implore you to join us over on Twitch. Uh, you'll get all of
Oh,
our
okay. I'll put it
links.
on LinkedIn. Let's see,
Yeah, bro.
guys.
It's our little workaround. It's fine. So unified mode. If anyone doesn't know what unified mode is, this is where I'll start. Chef has a compile and converge phase. So usually you want to do things in the compile phase. Let's say install a gem, and then it's available for the converge phase. So you'll compile your recipes, that kind of stuff, and then maybe you'll compile a gem, blah blah blah, and then you'll run your recipes and you converge your recipes there. What unified mode does is smush those two things together. Now, the important thing about smushing those two states together is it gets you a really, really nice, very easy to understand way of how the chef mode is going to happen. So if you're um, pushing things into compile time, and sometimes are, sometimes not, it gets really, really confusing. So you can have a recipe that reads from top to bottom, and it could be on the fourth item in. So chef recipes are ordered ordered execution. So you have like A, B, C, D. So you have like a file, then a template, then a directory. Then you can actually like force the directory into compile. So you can create the directory in the first stage. That's really confusing because the directory gets created first, and then the file and the template. And this kind of things get out of order. And sometimes you want them out of order, but actually what you really want is to have a gem and it be installed and then be available straight away. But we've needed to historically force it into the compile phase. So like we imagined a few years ago, what happens if we just didn't have that stage? What happens if it was just available? What happens if you just had a gem, we installed the gem, and they were available immediately after the gem installation, able to use the things in that gem? Unified mode gives us that ability in custom resources or resources in general, and that's why if you're using custom resources, it's super important to have unified mode on.
Okay.
There's a different explanation here, kind of the same thing. Why are we talking about that today? So, Chef gets released about every April, has done for a few years now. And I'll talk about the RFC. I'm going to talk about the Chef RFC. Chef RFC. The RFC process decided many years ago that we would, rather than release Chef occasionally, maybe almost never, we would have it a regular cadence, very similar to Ubuntu. So Ubuntu releases twice a year, so the April and the October release. The October release is one of those releases, the LTS version, the other is not the LTS version. What Chef do is we release once a year in April, and that's supported for 2 calendar years there. So I think, was it 2 calendar years? Don't quite remember that one. I'm going to go and check the support policy. But we then roll that through. So then we get Chef 17. So right now we support 16 and 17 for sure. Those are getting patches, and 18 is currently the active branch as of last week, in fact. So as 18 is now the active branch, we've really got to be thinking about what's coming up in 18. And unified mode is that one thing that's about to change and is probably going to be surprising a bunch of people. And this is why I'm talking about this today. So I want us to, like, if I help one person along this journey, to see that unified mode is coming in April. And if you upgrade your Chef client, things may break. On the whole, I've seen nothing break. Actually, no,
Right.
I would say something was out of order in the patch you could book. I turned unified mode on and it didn't work. So I had to like literally move a resource up one and it worked. It was a super simple fix, and this is what test kitchen is going to make it work. And really
So wait,
crucial in progress.
I
Yeah,
don't. Can you
go for it.
repeat what you did to what the quick fix was? Because I didn't quite get it, and I'm wondering.
No, well, neither did I. So when I said about the order of resources, so sometimes you'll have A, B, C, D, E, F. So
Mm-hmm.
A, B, C, D, E, F, and then but it won't run in that order. So you'll have put resource there, like okay, grab impact you. That might be easier. Talk about a cookbook. the install resource. And we are talking about just custom resources here.
Right.
If you're just using recipes and you're not creating custom resources, although if you're not creating custom resources, but you have a way of doing things internally, I implore you to go and try custom resources. They're really cool. Very easy to make. And so I turned this unified mode on. So now we have this unified mode on by default. Why not by
Right.
default? But we forced it on.
Right.
The default is chefs 15, 16, and 17 is false. So
Right.
it's off by default. Sous chefs have decided to turn it on by default. So we're all ready for chef 18, which is unified mode by default. It's on. So we don't get caught by chef 18 coming out. Which
Right.
gives a little bit of a lead up to, like, we know this is going to change. We want to see what's going to break.
Yeah, that's great.
Anything that you
Tell
said.
everybody else what to expect.
So we just support, in my sous chef hat on, different hat on, they just support 15.3, so where unified mode is available. So 15.3 and higher, and this is why I'm talking about the release cycle here, because 14, 14, and 14.15 have also got unified mode. There's a quirk in the release process there, so I'll talk about that in a second. So unified mode got switched. It was a kind of available switch to turn, like an available knob to turn. So we've turned it on in Apache 2 Cookbook. And as a result, turning it on, I think it was like all down here somewhere. So we've got a bunch of directories get created, a bunch more directories get created, and then some templates get created, and then some links get created, and all this kind of stuff happens here. And I think there might have been a directory getting created, and then the link happened, or something. Something was just slightly in the wrong order, and it was not happening in the order we actually wanted to happen. So we wanted it to happen like create a directory and then create a link to it. How we'd written it, this is me. I'd written it for some reason. I'd mistakenly written it not in that order, so in the wrong order, and it worked. And the fact that it worked was a mistake. So it wasn't because unified mode was not on. It was working by accident, basically.
So, like, was there a bug or?
Yeah, it's kind of like a bug, like a happy bug, basically.
Yeah.
No, and this is kind of like
feature.
This happens all over the place. Like this thing happens, and then it gets compiled, and then you do a bit of Ruby. It's probably because there was some Ruby around it.
Right.
And that was getting forced into different spaces and that kind of thing. So it ended up going in the resource collection in a weird order. And turning unified mode on just stopped that from happening. It just went in the order it should have gone, basically. And the resource collection, digging a little bit deeper into why this all happens.
Gotcha.
So the resource collection, so Chef goes through and says, what am I doing? You've got a bunch of resources. So Chef is, one of the building blocks of Chef is a resource. So the link resource, and just go and there's a link resource here, a template resource. And often when I'm talking about this, custom resources will just be made up of other resources. So you can actually make a custom resource made up of other custom resources. That's always a fun one. I quite like doing. But you've got these basic, like the Chef templates, which is a core resource, a link resource, and a cookbook file. All of these things happen, and they get put into. So Chef reads this file, this install RB file, and once it's read, it says, "All right, I'm going to make a bunch of links." So here, so I'm going to make a link from A to EN site, so enable site, disable site, disable mod, enable conf, and a bunch of other things. Link through these, and then adds them to the resource collection in this order. So it kind of like disassembles the Ruby and makes it like understands how it should do it. Right, I've got to make this link to here, this link to here, this link to here, so that, and then it adds it to the collection. Something was happening where it was adding it to the collection in the order. Can't explain why, but it was. So when we turned unified mode on, it did it in the right order, and I was like, oh, I don't like. So I literally moved something up like 5 times, and it's in the order now. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, well, it should have been in order in the first place.
Right.
So the fact that I did it in the wrong order, yeah, it was probably. I mean, I know this book took me a couple of months to redo because it was using definitions and stuff like that, some deprecated stuff. Um, but it was really complicatedly written because Apache 2 is not the easiest bit of software to configure.
Uh-huh.
That's why we have Apache 2 book written. That's why we have configuration management, because we do all the heavy lifting. Um, we do all the links, we do all the platform stuff. Like if we're on Debian, if we're not on Debian, whatever. This is why Chef and the other configuration management languages exist, is to make this kind of stuff easier. But when you're writing a custom resource to make those things easier, it turns out you've got to get like really deep down in the dirt and figure out what these things are and why they happen. So when you're that deep in the weeds, it's really not surprising that you end up putting things in the order. It just happens. It's fine. But unified mode, thankfully, sort of points to it. Now I mentioned. Did I mention the release cycle? In fact, is anyone out there that got a question about unified mode
Right. No
that I
question.
just talked about before I get onto the release cycle? Because the release cycle is kind of interesting. Oh god! So Jason just told me that the flag he was trying to draw was Cuba, hence why he drew a cigar.
A cigar. And it was Jason. Oh, Jason. Of course you were trolling. That's funny. So no, I don't know. Did we go over it? Okay, so I know we've got some new viewers. So let's
Yeah,
kind of recap what we talked about. All right.
yeah.
So um hey for everybody that's joining. Thanks for joining. We are talking about unified mode and how it is coming out or the update in 18 in Chef for client 18 unified mode to true. And Dan was going through updates that the sous chefs had to make into their cookbooks in order to kind of get ahead of the update so that
Yeah.
they didn't get caught slipping, right?
Yeah, so I think they've got. It's one of those things like, oh, we know a breaking change is about to happen, and
Right.
that's fine. We had a long enough lead up. So 17 happened, and this is about cook style again. So you know cook style is like a cook style is basically, like you said, just yeah. So cook style. If
Yes,
Tim had not written a rule, my wife is just sending me the fact that she got the wordle of the day. Oh, I'll tell you about the wordle in a second.
okay.
It's a word guessing game, and she just sent me the fact that she did it in 4 guesses, and I'm having trouble with it. She's just trolling me with it. So Tim is a pro manager and chef, and he basically wrote Cook Style, which is an addition to Ruby
Oh,
Cop.
impressive.
Yeah, so his my neighbours having an argument with their cars again. Beep beep. Thank you very much. So Cook Style is in addition as kind of plug-in system whatever to RubyCop. So RubyCop is a linter and also corrector for Ruby. Chef is written in Ruby, so we just wrote some additional rules, or cops as I know. One of those cops was unified mode. Hey, unified mode is going to be an AT now. Tim was like, well, I should probably write a uh, a a rule to say you need to declare unified mode is either on or off. Right now it's off.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you can then default it to on, which is a good thing. So
Right.
if you're running the
Oh,
default rules in Cookstyle right now, um, Cookstyle will now tell you that uh, you need to set unified mode. It will still work with this without doing this. It will say you need to go and set unified mode to true because in Chef 18 it's just going to be true. So you want to get ahead of the curve so you can just upgrade to 18. And this is a nice thing about Cookstyle is one, it's a really nice way of communicating from the internal teams breakages that are about to happen. Super nice. Honestly, if you hadn't written the Cookstyle rule, I would have not known about it a year and a half ago. But as a result, we've got a bunch of cookbooks that have had couple of fixes, but we had a big run to do that. And it's a really nice way of communicating without actually having to read the release notes, because not all of us read the release notes for every show single chef.
Right.
That's just how it is sometimes. So when 17 came out, we were like, right, we're gonna do unified mode. It's just gonna happen. And so so Cookside came out and was just like, bam, right, you're on a unified mode turning on ready for it. And we're like, thanks very much. This is gonna be loads of work. Oh no, terrible. It was like not much work.
Good.
But it's really nice to see that it happened. So I was talking about 17 and 16 and 15 and that kind of stuff. So the release cycle again is once a year. And I'm just going to see this. So it's currently in the boneyard. I say currently. I have some plans. I'm just going to see RFC. Where's the release? Where was it? Yeah. So the releases and how they will happen, and so that the whole major minor patch thing.
Mhm.
So we have a patch and a
It's
so major minor bug fix. So 12.1.6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like those are like bug fixes, like minor bug fixes. If they're like additional features, they get like 12.1, 12.2, 12.3. Those tend to happen basically once a month. So we tend to like roll through a new minor version once a month. So 17.10 it's just got released. I'm just going to go and check that. Chef, find release notes. Also, if you don't know what the release notes are, I can do. Come on. So just press those on. Does that help? How do you do it? No, so 17.9. See, like we've got two bug fixes here. So 17.9, 18, and 26. So there are release notes there. Yeah, so we've got quite a few versions there. And so if you haven't seen the release notes, worth a quick squiz through. Sometimes they're very tap. Turns out there's a bug fix for brutal. And it's just a bug fix, so we didn't do a full minor. So is there any chance there's a good link to say which good way? So is there a link to see which community books need to be updated? If we're talking about sous chefs, which probably catches. Right. So that your cookbooks depend on. Let's see. The quick way of finding out if your cookbooks. So if you've got a cookbook that relies on a community cookbook, I'm going to make an assumption that it's a sous chef cookbook because that's a rough, easy assumption to make here. The metadata in all of them will say requires chef 15.3 onwards. The only reason we'll have bumped a chef client requirement in this case Java would be a break and change. Okay, so so let's say you're depending on Java in here, and if we go to the metadata, just quickly open this up. So chef version 15.3. The only reason we have increased the chef version is because you require something to 15.3. I can tell you for a fact that if you're using the sous chef cookbooks, it requires 15.3. The only reason it's 15.3 or above is unified mode. If it's 15.5, it's a bunch of resource or what's it on? Proxy. Let me just quickly. I want to finish the sentence off, so I'm using quick look. Partials, resource partials. If you're using resource partials, then you'll need 15.5. So anything between above 15.3 will have been completed, so unified mode will be on. If you can just give me a couple of cookbooks right now, I can have a quick look or I could probably tell you whether they are or they're not. In fact, that would be quite interesting, maybe. To see, we have a kayak.
Hey.
So the short answer is it's probably being done if it's a sushi cookbook and it's a popular cookbook. Uh, unified mode will have been enabled in at least the latest version of the cookbook.
Hmm.
Um,
And you're talking
Probably.
about sous chef. Yeah. So like
Yeah. So there's the ones I know have been done because I keep a track of those. I'm just gonna find them.
you guys are awesome. Like just the
So many
support.
reposts.
Yeah. Just like the support. I mean, and like testing it out for the people.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty dope.
Okay. So I renamed our board last night. So she's. I think, apparently the name of the board's gone because I've zoomed in too far. Uh, so this is the Chef 17 board. So every year we have a project board across two chefs that has all of our repositories in it. Um, this is a done column. We've at least done 48 of them. Uh, I haven't even triaged 100 of them for a start. Um, Again, if you want to go and do that, and you're not part of Sous Chefs, you can totally do that. Or you can just let me know, hey, this one works. I can fix that. Most of these probably are fine. There's a couple of plans, there's in progress. It's all fine. So Smith, let me know if you can give me two cookbook names. I can probably tell you right now. Or I can find out for you. That might be quite interesting. I'd love to know like other cookbooks on the supermarket that are not using unified mode. That are again not sous chefs because uh, like, this community is pretty active, but they don't own everything, and nor should they. Although the idea behind that group is not that they own them per se, but they shepherd them. They enable people to contribute. They push fixes through on a regular basis. They're not there to stop people. Like, no, we own this thing. You can't do this thing. Or hey, actually, there's an easy way to do it. Have you thought about writing it this way? They're there to just help. And the big old goal is to just be like, right, we want software that works.
Right.
So that's that. We need to go in 13 minutes. Oh my gosh. We have like all hands days. So we had like a progress wide all hands, which
Right.
we dropped off because we're like, yeah, we're fine. You want to
I
stream?
really wanted to spend some time with you guys.
Yeah. So
Mm.
we jumped off the stream, on that stream onto our stream, and turns out the chef all hands is in 13 minutes,
Oh
which I should probably
yeah,
look at.
that's
But I'm
true.
super keen on. Just let me know what cookbooks those are. In fact, if you don't want to let me know on stream right now, drop us a couple of them on
Community Slack.
community Slack. Yeah, just drop them in. Like you can PM me them, and I can find out quickly, easy. But yeah, the metadata is the short end is like the short TLDR of ours, 5 minutes of rambling, is metadata. If you see your cookbooks, you can look at the metadata. There are some cookbook quality metrics coming that require that are going to rely on cook style. Hence why we've seen a few supermarket updates recently. I'm very keen on getting seeing this update in. So I talk about cookbook quality metrics. You definitely probably don't know about what they are actually, Kai, because you haven't seen this before. I'm logged in as Sushas currently. So let's go to the RVM cookbook
Okay.
because it's the top one last.
Oh right, 'cause that's what you streamed last.
Yeah. Actually, why are there no quality metrics? So the quality metrics are currently broken, and this is okay. This is a good thing because we're about to replace them with some actual quality metrics. So the quality metrics used to rely on Food Critic. Food Critic isn't used anymore, so hence why we've got like a blank page here. This is a placeholder for some really cool stuff, and this will probably answer your question, Smith. Smith People's Ad, what a great name. So you've just smashed the words together. I'd love to know the story behind your name. My name is just mostly just like a made-up word. I just my Darmicus name. It's just the native word when I was gaming. If you're in the supermarket, you see the rundown cookbook here. So there's like cook style fixes and that kind of stuff. You'll see that under here somewhere. Like if you've seen if it's been updated in the last year, then it's probably fine. If that, no, still updated. Oh wow, it's all fixed. Yeah, unified. So if you were you've been using the one deck book, it's been fixed since 7. So you can just go to the supermarket, grab a cookbook, go to the change one. That'll be the quickest way to get your information. Just search for unified.
Okay.
People usually tell you when unified mode is enabled. I've made a point of telling people when unified mode is enabled because one, it requires a major version bump of every social cookies. In fact, I don't know what it is. I've unzoomed this and no one ever can read this, so my apologies. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so can we read this now? We can read this now. Also, the download complete button is huge on the screen. So this is the screen. This is the changelog you usually see. Enable unified mode in all resources. Drop support for chef versions labeled 15.3 and some other stuff that we didn't need. Then immediately afterwards we required 15.5 for a systemd helper because systemd, like systemd question mark, is now a built-in helper as of 15.5, which was really helpful. You didn't need to do there's a long string of figuring out if you're it's just now it's just systemd question mark. This is nothing within chef. It's much nicer. It's an alias for a bunch of other stuff. But these are the kind of things we upgrade the cookbooks for: is more readability, more usability, that kind of stuff. So it's probably been finished, but I'd love to know, and I'd love to help people get to later versions of cookbooks and that kind of stuff. So yeah, any
And the
questions?
people appreciate you for it.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, like you can give me some grief. My mail will laugh at you.
I mean, the fact that you all, I don't know, it's a labor of love
Ah,
because you all are volunteers. Well, yeah, right?
ah,
All the Sues, volunteers.
yeah. Smith people that has just PM'd me on community Slack. Again, this is how you get hold of me in community Slack. In fact, I actually
Nice.
dropped my. Have I dropped? I'm going to try and change my name because I need to change my name just so people know what I am on Slack. I'm Damakus on community Slack. I don't know why I haven't done that. It's really long name. Catch me at community Slack if you need to PM me about anything. He's just got hit with a production issue, so hence why he's no longer talking to us. So yeah,
Gotcha.
priorities. This
Okay.
is fine.
Yep.
Um,
Way to prioritize Smith people, Dad.
but
You know what his name is?
I'm gonna probably chat to him and then see which ones he's using and figure out if we can help a bunch of other people. And so
Yeah.
yeah, these things are not these things are not currently enabled. So let's have a look at this list. Like these are the things I've not even looked at. Most of them are probably fine. The Vagrant Cookbook, the User's Cookbook. Well, the User's Cookbook probably is in the Boneyard now.
Well, Dan, you know what Smith people dad makes me think of? Like his name.
No.
Makes me think of on TikTok where they like the TikTok thing where they're talking about have you made your own people yet?
Oh
Have
my
you
god,
seen
what?
that?
No, I'm not really on. I don't do the TikTok thing because I would literally spend all day scrolling.
Oh my
Because
gosh, I
YouTube,
have
I've
to
got
control
YouTube
myself.
Shorts, and that's what I do on YouTube Shorts. So I just spend an hour just scrolling through them. No reason. I don't need to. I don't need two platforms because that's why I'm no longer on Imager anymore because I was spent like days just
Just
clicking
scrolling.
next on Imager. So I'm no
Yeah,
longer on Imager anymore.
I have to restrain myself.
Yeah.
But like comment if you've heard of the TikTok where they're talking about have you made people yet? That one really or have you made your own people yet? It's too funny. And I have to probably like, put it on or I'll maybe figure out a way to like show it next time because it's one of the hilarious ones. But yeah, way to keep your priorities in check, Smith
Yeah,
equal that, and you know what? And you
like
did, Dan. You did. You were able to accomplish your goal because it feels like
at least one person has seen
at
it.
least one person.
So, woo, thank you. Um, yeah, again, let me know if like unified mode has like surprised you. God, this thing like I didn't know it's coming in April. And actually, I want it upgraded at Chef 18. Also, why would I want to upgrade to Chef 18? I don't know yet. I haven't seen the release notes. I haven't got the inside story from Tim. It's going to be something cool,
Yeah.
or it might just be probably around 18, and we get rid of a bunch of. Might deprecate a couple of things maybe. In fact, what I've got Chef 18. No. Yes, I wonder.
What are we going to talk about next Tuesday?
Oh, so next, let's talk about that before we go.
Let's talk about matchers.
Oh, so I do want to talk about matches. So matches is on my that's next Tuesday. So if you're into InSpec or
Yeah.
you're not into InSpec and you want to figure out how to test things, we'll talk about InSpec and we're going to talk about matches. So
Mhm.
uh, how do
Well,
you when you're testing something, you want to and you've got a big string. How do you match within that string? How do you say I want this to be more than a value, less than a value, that kind of stuff. So how do you test things? Matches are the way you comparators, the way you compare something. If you
yep.
want to know more about that and you want me to actually explain that fully and without me waving my arms going, I didn't prepare this, then yeah,
Yeah.
let me
Watch
know.
the first.
I will waffle in a different way next week, next Tuesday. But
Yeah.
again, next Tuesday at 3 p.m. GMT. What are you 10 a.m. PS? No,
Yep. 10 a.m. Eastern.
Eastern.
Yep. And that's gonna be cool. I like the way that we or that Inspect uses like human readable language.
Oh, it
Makes
makes
it
it easier to
easy to
learn
learn.
and like yeah. I was gonna say, it doesn't need to be the fastest, but SAP are the number of targets they're testing within their multiple clouds is it's in the millions. It's millions of resources they're testing SAP for like across I don't know, all three of their clouds, so GCP, AWS, and Azure. They're just testing, and it might even be on site as well. Like they're testing all of these things with Azure.
Okay.
It's mind blowing. Um, what's this? Oh, we've got a guest next Thursday. I'm just going to quickly. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it?
Groove Kanoja.
Oh no, next week is
Oh no. No, it's
about being lazy with Jess Rose.
just
Um, so
Rose. That's right.
um, so Jess Rose is a. I'm gonna like claim her as my friend now because I've talked to her enough now. She's a UK DevRel or Dev Africa
Sweet.
for I can't remember the company's name. We'll find out her company's name next week when I introduce her. It's not the important bit. Um, she has been. We're just going to be talking about why developers are not lazy. Why all developers will say, "Oh, I'm really lazy. I just can sit here and be lazy." It's not a thing. You're
I
not lazy.
totally
So
agree. Totally agree. We talked about it a few streams ago, and yeah, I disagree with the whole lazy developer
yeah.
trope. That's exactly what it is.
So
Trope.
if you've got any opinions or you want to hear our opinions, or more importantly, Jess's
Yeah.
opinions on that, join us again on next Thursday for our it's going to be properly the whole way track rather than us preparing people for unified mode. Also, I'm like, a whole decibel deeper or a whole like tone deeper today because my voice is going to apparently it's dropped today. um, yeah, if you found today's stream helpful, let us know
Let us know.
by just
Yes.
leaving a comment or let us know in the CC channel or the DevRel channel. More importantly, probably just the DevRel channel because that's where we really want to know feedback. If it was help, blah, 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 blah. If it was
Word,
helpful or it was not helpful, or if Dan just needs to be quiet for a second, then let us know. I'm also like happy to just like have people chat in. That's why I want guests because Dan can actually shut up for once.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. I can't wait to have you.
we've
That was
got um, we've got guests for our Thursday streams booked until March. No, I've just booked 2 million for March.
woo.
Yeah, so that's so I think it's a whole of February I've got booked out. Um, I'm just going to check my calendar because it's quite going to be interesting for people. If you haven't seen that, actually, our YouTube playlist, we'll get you all the streams and um, our 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 still of let's talk about unified mode on Chef Software is Jason drawing a cigar because of Cuba. Let's just go quickly squeeze across here. So let's the playlist. Sorry, I'm beautiful. So get the Chef Software on YouTube, and you can see. So next Thursday we've got on Being Lazy with Jess Rose scheduled, and then Thursday after that we've got a interview with a hackathon winner, Durov. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, or their name wrong. I will find out how wrong I pronounce their name on the 3rd of February.
Yes.
And then the week after, on the 10th of February, 10th of February, we've got mentoring tech leads with Dan Alford, a friend of mine who runs Run.js in Birmingham, UK. He's been mentoring for many years. I'm stoked to have him on. He's written a really nice article about mentoring techniques. And then once the 10th has gone, I think it's either the 17th or the 20th, I think we'll have. No, it's then March the 3rd, I think it is. Then we've got we'll be talking about App Assembler with Kimball Johnson, and we'll find out what App Assembler is in March.
Shout out to App Assembler.
Yeah, they're a learning platform. I'm really happy to have them on, partially because again, Kimball is a friend of mine. I've known him for many years. He's an ex-chef employee.
Sweet.
He was at Kong for a while, and now he's gone to App Assembler. So he started Chef using App Assembler, and now he's gone to work for App Assembler. So it's quite helpful because it's an ins and outs of our system, and we'll find some ins and outs of our system there.
Sweet.
But yeah, let us know who you want to go and see, and we'll be on some other people's streams in the meantime as well. So we'll bring them on that as well.
Sounds good. Cool.
Yeah. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching.
Have a nice day. Catch you later.
Have a nice day.